I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm also shutting down Sims. That's why you hear the computer struggling like this. I am so sorry. But that's where I plan on putting you. So I'm gonna wait till it stops lashing out. Okay, I'm gonna wait till there's some. Ooh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, because I be having mobile data on with the Wi-Fi, and I think that that affects the quality. With that being said, though, I'm going to get my water. Actually, let me exit game. No, we're just gonna exit game because we already fuck it. We already did it. Yes, the Discord exists. If you added me on Discord, I have not started anything. I've just been trying to like figure out how to get people up in there, tell more people about it. What up, Niche? What up, Ren? Y'all, Ren actually just started their YouTube account. I hope y'all support. They're out here. I'm excited to see what they share with us because they be out here. Like they like Ren be going places. Ren be like leaving. So just keep that in mind. Ren be going places. They re-released Sims 2. What up, Trilly? Trilly, I didn't get back to you because honestly, a mess. But please know I saw that you did message, and I'm gonna get back to you when I can. Jai, I did not hear that. Are you excited? Are you hyped? Because me, I'm just grateful that I get to play Sims at all. I got a really messy Sims game going on right now. So, okay. So there's this family in the game, the Spencer Kims. Basically, it's a black dude and his mama and an Asian dude, Asian lady and her dad. But the Asian lady dad hates her guts. And I only took interest in their family because I noticed that the father had passed, like the dad, the black man had died. So I was like, wait. I was like, there was a black man in this household at some point. So I went back up in there to go see what happened. Turns out the black man had been electrocuted, died, and now his Asian wife is still up in the house with her dad who hates her. And the mother of the black man who had passed away, Mr. Eric Spencer, bitch, and the mama's name is Vivian. Vivian, she just went into like parent mode. Like she literally adopted a child, then started like getting really close to her grandbabies. Like she was grieving, but she was also kind of just like not focused on any of the adults in the household. Then she started fucking with the Asian lady daddy a lot. So, anyways, so I decided that the Asian lady, Alice, I was just gonna make her an evil thought, a business hoe. You know what I mean? I was bored. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make her Valenia's Valentine aspiration for anybody who has wicked whims. If you know, you know. And so my plan was just to make her be like evil, demonic, a hoe. I had her leave babies with people. I was just having so much fun. Like I was like, you know what? Yeah, you might have got me pregnant, but now the baby is yours. You know what I mean? I was really doing a lot. But then at some point in my shenanigans, I had met a man. And honestly, because I am, just a wild bitch, I just decided that after she played him, he would play her. It was just a little Uno reverse. I didn't really think about it too deeply. But then I started playing as like a kind of evil narcissistic man, and I'm not gonna lie, bitch, it's been so fun. Like it's really terrible, but I just been lying to bitches. I've been breaking bitches' hearts and then being like, hey, let's find common ground. Like it's really sick, bitch. But I just been playing with people. But why the fuck? At this point, I'm now married. You know what I mean? I married a girlie that I met in church. I met a church girl who go to church and read her Bible, and so I decided I was gonna groom her. I know this is crazy shit. I know this is crazy ass shit, but I'm deciding I'm gonna make her my perfect wife. But the church girl, bitch, she's actually a secret thought. She just don't know she a thought yet because she been reading the Bible. She ain't been around other hoes. So I've just decided that he's trying to make her his perfect boo. Whole time she's doing her thing, she's living her life, she's not worried about him, she's jet setting. Low key, bitch, her traits were fucking materialistic, um, dancer, and motherfucking mean. Baby, that's a stripper. You know what I mean? So I've just decided I'm gonna put her in a strip club. So she plays like she be in the church, but then at night, bitch, she be at the strip club making it up, making it rain, bitch, doing waterfalls, doing all types of shit. So that's my plan is that she's gonna end up becoming a pimp stress, but like an ethical pimp. You know what I mean? Like all like it's gonna be multiple pimps that sometimes hoe. That's my plan. Yeah. Literally, bitch, mean, materialistic, and dancer. Like, let's be real. So, with that being said, I just decided that she's going to be the get back queen, but it's all in the works. You know what I mean? She's still playing that she's a good wife. She's a good wife. She want to have a baby. She want to have a family. But at some point, it's just gonna be clear like her path is to be a dancer. So I'm gonna get a pole in the house and shit. So I'm setting it all up. I'm really excited because I just can't wait to fuck him up. Cause he low key has a fear of cheating. That's why he be cheating on bitches. Somebody knows this man. Somebody knows this man. Like so scared of getting played that he plays you. How did that sound? Exactly. Exactly, bitch. So that's the vibes that's going on in my game right now. I got a lot of treachery, a lot of deceit, a lot of people not paying their bills and then last second paying their bills. A lot of people, just acting a fool. You made Golden Girls. But see, and that's the thing. My favorite part is when the Sims just choose their own path. Like I want to say, like one of the most recent things that my Sims did, and I didn't even ask them to do that. So my Sim had chilled with Anaya Jang. I don't know if anybody knows them, but it's basically this like very cute black family that like lives in this apartment building, and their house is decorated the cutest out of like all the counties. Like I don't know if y'all went to the Jang apartment, but the Jang apartment is gorgeous. Anyways, wait, sidebar, bitch. This is unrelated to everything. Unrelated to everything. But bitch, why did I fry spam in coconut oil? I fried spam in coconut oil and then I glazed it. And yes, I put it in a little bit of flour, a little bit of seasoned flour, fried it up, and then I glazed it with some teriyaki. I made some rice. I added some gochujang, bitch. Oh my god. The way this shit fed me, bitch. The glaze was literally just butter. I already had some teriyaki sauce, so I really didn't have to do too much. But it was butter, teriyaki sauce, some cane sugar, some brown sugar, and a little bit of cinnamon. Just a little bit of cinnamon. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Charles. Listen, I'm trying to go to that spot more. I posted the Instagram of that place if anybody's local. Or maybe you'll be able to find something that's going on like that in your own place. But yeah, I feel like I'm eating like a very Polynesian, Korean inspired meal. Like I added like a mix of like scrambled eggs to the rice as it finished. And that's just like gently let it get real sticky. Oh my fucking god! Like with the crispy teriyaki spam and then the gochujang. I also put gochujang in it too. And then there's the kimchi and then there's the fucking rice. Like it's so fucking good. I really wish it was egg roll. Love your life. I'm so sorry to hear that. Ghetto boy, I'm obsessed with you. Thank you so much for inspiring me. Like, no games. No, it's delicious as fuck. You need help or tips with your dating your boyfriend. You asked him for his phone to look through it and he got all defensive. Okay, I want to say this right now, and I don't mean for this to come off any kind of way, but y'all, if you get the desire to look through somebody's phone, I just want you to know that like trust has already been broken. If you're already feeling like and then here's my thing, it maybe not trust has already been broken, but your insecurities or your triggers like they've been hit. And so what would make the most sense to me is for you to bring this up to your partner and be like, hey, you're going through my phone a lot and I don't have access to yours. I'm just wondering why not. I also want to let it be known that it is illegal to go through people's phone right now. I don't fuck with the law like that, bitch, but I do want to uplift it, bitch. I do want to uplift that it is currently, it's a federal crime. The men are back, baby. The men are back, baby. Is really giving Mad Men type bullshit. Like it's illegal to go through your guy's phone. Girl. But I just want you to know, I understand. Yeah, no, it's very concerning. I mean, if you don't trust him, I'm wondering, like, are you only staying because you would be in a worse situation if you didn't leave? Because it does sound like that. Girl, white people are so silly. Imagine pretending to be a cop on the internet. Like, I'm so sorry. It's like every day they do something that is just so wild. Like, I'm always surprised, bitch. I hate that for me. I really never would have thought a white person would have pretended to be a cop in the goddamn shit. With the motherfucking siren emoji, bitch. I'm screaming. Wow, the colonizer's imagination, bitch. Whoa. I mean, listen, if y'all are feeling like a man is cheating on y'all or not treating y'all right, my question is this: who is your best friend? Who is your homie? There's no weight to lose. I'm juicy. Let me be. But yeah, as I was saying though, like if someone is cheating on you or not treating you good, either or. Either or. Ryan, exactly. And here's the thing: if you don't have the kind of relationship where you can be honest about feeling insecure, I'm sorry, because I think that that's a big part of a relationship. Unfortunately, we don't live in a world where everything is on the highest key. We don't. And even back in the back, bish, like I remember watching The Crown and like Prince Philip was like cheating on the Queen, and she had already figured out he was playing with her. Like she had already, and because her sister snitched, but it's just a situation where like she knew all the tea, and she still was playing a fool in his face in ways. And the way that she really couldn't leave him, like, and the worst part about it is, how the fuck you the queen, but you over here, divine right of kings, like, sweetie, to the point where you're gonna accept cheating again. The damn queen of the motherfucking United Kingdom. I know she's not really a queen, bitch. Like I know it's fake, but what I'm trying to say is, even though she had mad power, she still was like trying to make an excuse for staying with a man. So I feel like even if you have seemingly all the power to shift your experience, like it still could be some bullshit holding you back. So that's my thought process, is like, I don't shame nobody for not leaving nothing in no kind of time frame, because I think I read somewhere that it takes most women like 7 to 9 times to leave an abuser. I think I read that it takes women actually a long time to get away from an abuser. But I actually came here to talk about something completely fucking different than this. But I'm glad that we talked about it, because again, when men are not treating us right, we can also be in a situation or a dynamic where that man not treating you right is now, money loss, bills piling up. Like a relationship could really like spell disaster. A relationship ending can be disaster for certain folk. But that's the thing. He blamed it on her being the queen from what was shared. He blamed his cheating on his position, saying he was outranked by his son. And it's like, sweetie, what did you think it was about to be? Again, it's the way that when a woman marries into the crown, she ascends in power in a way that, she has her own realm. He absolutely had realms of his own that he could rule, but that wasn't enough for him. I think that that's the thing too. Also, the fact that his family was connected to motherfucking Nazis, bitch. And she had the nerve to tell her sister, like, oh, these men that you're dealing with are not of a certain caliber. It's like, sweetie, you're dating a Nazi descendant. Honestly, bitch, the way that the crown makes Princess Margaret seem so much more fun, but it's just like, girl, who cares? Like, your sister hates you. Like, I feel like that's the thing about it. Like, your sister's in power over you and she hates you. Sick. See? And see, that's the thing. It doesn't even have to be a man, right? Being in a relationship with anybody, like, it can take time to get away. It could take time. And it's sick how quickly you could get with somebody and how long it could take to get away. It's really crazy sometimes. But I want to just advise y'all, as someone who has moved quick my entire life, I feel like I'm still moving quick. You know what I mean? I feel like me and Dane finally slowing down and catching up to what the fuck we were supposed to be doing when we first met. But if I'm being super candid, I didn't expect to meet nobody. I told this man many times, I was like, a man tried to kill me while I was taking a dookie. So I don't trust none of y'all. And honestly, you know what I mean? The entire time. It was toxic for sure in retrospect, but my thought process was, if I keep telling him like, get the fuck away from me, no, then he'll figure it out. At some point I start catching feelings, I start feeling bad. Because I was like, damn, I actually fuck with you. But again, I'm still on high alert. I'm still on high alert. There's weirdos in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Ryan could go. Ryan could go. Listen, listen, a lot of these men are bored. A lot of femmes are choosing friendship. A lot of women are choosing to date women. A lot of men are feeling very left out of everything. And it's unfortunate because what they could be doing in this time is fighting for bitches. Like actually fighting for bitch, like actually going outside and talking to your fellow man and being like, hey, how are you showing up for women in your life? How are you pouring back in? You know, again, I brought this up the last time I went live, and I'm still not on the topic I want to be on, but I'm going to get there. But this white person I was cool with in some capacity had reached out to me after I shared a video where a black woman was graciously saying that white women need to talk to white women. And she felt like it was being divisive. And she's posted some other things since that have me realizing that we're not going to be close anymore. And it's because she is expecting black women to like extend the arm again and again and again and again. She's clearly expecting black women to teach her something and tell her something. And even when we were talking and I was trying to help her, because I'm like, sweetie, like I've known you to be a kind soul, but that don't mean shit. Like a white person can be nice as fuck. They can still be fucking anti-black. Like someone being nice doesn't mean anything. Being nice doesn't even mean anything really. Like someone being kind, empathetic, teachable, staying teachable. And I feel like in the conversation, she was not staying teachable. She really wanted to talk. She really wanted to, she was listening to respond. She wasn't listening to hear. And again, when people are asking you questions because they don't have the information and you're sharing with them out of kindness, out of desire to connect, out of desire to have community, it's a thing that you have to learn how to do, is figure out like, is this person really talking to me or are they talking at me? Are they listening to respond? Are they listening to say something, or are they listening to sit with what I said and really hear and internalize what I'm saying? Again, sometimes people are really just talking to let some breeze ramble through their fucking teeth. They're not really offering much. A lot of times when people are talking, they're talking about their damn self. It's very rare people are actually talking about somebody and them and they. When people don't have a name for the shit, it's from them usually to them. But with that being said, the way that she's moving now, because I've been observing her, it just seems like she's in a space where she really expected like black women especially to keep on trying to talk, keep on making content that's easily accessible for her and her people. She didn't expect for black women to say, hey, join my Patreon if you want to hear me. Join this or that club, this or that space. She didn't expect for the information, or rather the intelligence, to become monetized. She didn't expect for black women to say, leave us alone. And again, with that being said, there's a lot of people that's going to be hurt that like the black women that have been so open to sharing are now being more protective, being more mindful about who gets what. Again, as I've said before, the way black women have treated me in the past when I thought I was a black person, I wasn't owed that. And the ways that now being in right relationship, being at the forefront of anything that I'm trying to do, it, oh, yes. And see, that's the thing, medium rare memes, that's the thing. Rare memes. White people have already segregated themselves. Like, that's the thing about it. White people have been segregating themselves. Segregation never ended. Look into redlining. Look into how, you know, your taxes are are informing what kind of money your school district gets, like the redlining, the districting, like the red line districting, or the redistricting of is it districting? I feel like I'm making that word up. But what I'm trying to say is like depending on like the money that's in your community, that will define your educational offerings, your food offerings, your everything offerings depends on how much money these people are paying in property tax. And again, when you have certain types of housing establishments, there's not a lot of taxes necessarily being taken, right? Because maybe you're renting, maybe you're on Section 8. Thank you so much, property taxes. Again, there are so many layers to how poverty absolutely like spreads in this way that allows the system to take advantage of people for not having many options by offering few options to certain districts, by making sure that white people don't rent to you. Again, there's a reason why when I moved into this fucking house, it was dirty. And again, it's the way that like it happened to me when I was a kid. My mom looked at the house without us, and then when we came, like, again, it's the way that like my mom's white passing privilege or whiteness like protects her in ways. But once people saw her children, it was very much like, oh, you deserve to be in the dirty house. And so again, it's the ways that like you can see a house and it's not dirty, but when you move in, it's definitely not clean. And it's the way that I found cigarettes inside of the fucking air in the heater, and I had to clean it out. Like there was so much dirt and trash inside of like the heater where like all the trash is just running through. And again, the ways that like you can see an apartment and it will be clean, but when they let you move in, your shit's not looking right. I remember one time we moved into a place, they left a razor in the carpet and my brother got hurt. And it's like, where the fuck is a straight razor? Why would there be a straight razor on the carpet of a new apartment to rent? Like that's weird. And again, it's things like that. It's like not making sure that like the house is clean, that anyone's checked it, that it's been inspected. But trust and believe, when you do move in, you're going to get inspections. Like when you move into these places that are not clean when you move in, they will expect to be able to inspect what you're doing to maintain how dirty it already was. Exactly. And that's another layer to this too, is that like when white people, like the place that I moved into, this woman chopped this one house into 3 different units. And the upstairs has not been rented because I truly believe none of it should have been rented. We rented this because we were in a situation where we needed to fucking move. But we definitely didn't, like, this wasn't our first pick. It was the easiest thing to get into. And it was a private landlord. It wasn't a corporation. And again, it was the ability to move in somewhere as quickly as possible. And they were desperate. They've been trying to rent the upstairs, and I'm so grateful they haven't, because I can tell that they've not really cared for this place very well. So if anybody moves in upstairs, I know we're gonna have issues, because I can already tell with some of this wall, like just there's some things that are happening with the ceiling that let me know, like if anyone gets up there, it's gonna be a disaster a bit. And so again, it's the ways that there's there's so much predatory shit happening, and we're all supposed to just, perform like it's fine. And again, I know we're not renewing the lease here. And when we leave, our plan is to let her know, like, we're leaving it just as dirty as you gave it to us. Like, we're not cleaning more than like what it was when we got up in here. And also, you should be ashamed of yourself. And that's why no one rents upstairs, because you're actually not putting in any labor to make it worthwhile, and you're charging an insane amount of money. She makes at least $2,000 off this one house, and she's set up to make $3K a month for nothing. But yeah, like I was saying though, there's layers to this, conversation. I don't want to stick it just to housing. I feel like I'm trying to get my way around to this convo that's happening on this person's Instagram account. And I want to be candid. I knew of this person a while ago. I'm not close with them in any way. We've talked maybe twice in life, maybe three times. I could be wrong, but I know them as a fat black activist, and someone that has been outspoken for a long time. But again, like we're not close in any way. I do not know them. I do not want to give the vibe that like we are close in any way. I want to just give the vibe that they're a person on the internet that I think is really interesting and really cool. But at the same time, I do want to uplift their content because there's two things to say. One, this person's name is Cheymodee. Their name is Cheyenne. It's spelled Cheymodee. And their content is honestly a mixed bag. You really never know what you're going to get, but they are a very interesting person to watch. And I always notice that their story is really fun. But with that being said, CL South, keep on watching, then keep on enjoying, keep on listening. All right. I hope you have a great day. If not, take care of yourself. But this isn't the way to talk to people. All right. So when you learn the way to talk to people, we'll talk. Until then, I bid you adieu. I bid you nothing but goodwill. Anyways, getting back to it. So Cheymodee posted about something me and my friend Dana talked about last night. And we were talking about people who were very outspoken about being fat and proud of themselves, becoming more focused on weight loss surgeries, going to the gym, making content about weight loss intentionally. Hey, CL South Indian, it's okay. I hope you have a really good day. I'm gonna kick you out of the chat because you're being transphobic and you're also being dehumanizing. I hope you fix your behavior. I really hope that you figure out how to talk to people. Real talk, dead ass. I genuinely hope that you figure that out. Like for real. Woo. That's gotta be lonely to talk to people like that, for real. But that ain't my business. Anyways, so like I was saying, they made a post that was talking about people losing weight recently and just noticing that there's, no more body positivity seemingly in the BOPO space around fat black femmes. And again, I'm paraphrasing. I really want folks to read her piece because again, I think that like I'm tapping in to talk about this because I had a convo with my friend that very much was us admitting that, we have seen a lot of fat folks that we really love getting really skinny. And I don't want to like name people to be like calling people out. That's not the energy. Like there's people that are on my mind, but I'm trying to be super cute about it because again, what I want to name is that like Che's post was great, but I also remember at one point in the convo, Dana and I were naming that, we still have some hangups around being fat people who are even doing joyful movement. I know I've been looking into like capoeira and like Brazilian dance fighting and trying to like figure out a way to move my body without intentionally looking like I am trying to escape fatness because I think that that's my other layer of this too, is that as much as I do want to dance more and swim and move, I'm also not interested in making any kind of stance about losing weight or reducing my size or focusing on health because it's so important to me. If I'm being candid, one day when you call me, I'll be dead. Like that's like on some real shit. Like I am not necessarily fighting to live anymore. Like I'm absolutely like trying to coast. And I feel like some people may not want to hear that, but I think that that's also part of the conversation as well. That not all of us are going to be like fighting to get strong, working out, focusing on being a certain type of way, behaving a certain type of way, looking a certain type of way. I think that divesting from being perceived can be seemingly impossible, but I do think it's on my mind and other people's mind as well. And also to interject, me and my friend were talking and she was naming about how she found my content and like talking about being a fat femme online. And one thing I wanted to name was that we came to a conclusion that like we didn't really have a choice to be beautiful. Like when you're fat and a femme, like you don't really have a lot more options. Like you're already going to be called ugly. You're already the fat girl. So the only option is going towards like privilege, right? That's the only option seemingly. And so with that being said, like I think this convo connects to that one as well. That like some of us fat femmes feel like all we can do is put on some makeup, put on a wig, and try to assimilate in a certain way. And that's a part of this conversation as well, is it not? I think it's multi-layered. I think just as much as like I'm worried about going to work out, there is a part of me that's so proud of one of my friends because they've been lifting and like showing themselves as a fat, deep, dark skinned person at a gym, lifting hella weight. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't see this every day. And so there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I also don't want to act like we all have this visibility and representation. Seeing a fat femme be beautiful is low-key limiting. And I wish that we would hold that like in the midst of chasing beauty, chasing privilege, chasing assimilation, we're also low-key not really allowed to be less than that. And so when you're at the gym, there is an aesthetic that feels very anti-black, that feels very anti getting your hair pressed or done in any kind of way because you're sweating. You're getting a pack of sweat on your head. And again, it's the performance of femininity, of beauty, of all that shit that is, again, whether or not you will do this or that. And again, it's the ways that I've heard people say that like that's why some black women are fat because they don't want to fuck up their hair. And it's awkward because it names that like there is a desire to name that black women's hair is an important thing. It misses the whole point of that convo though, that like the dehumanization that happens when your hair is not done, and the ways that like people will notice that you're fat but will again reward you for taking on beauty aesthetic, taking on privilege. Like it's such a double-edged sword because it's like, what do you do if you're a fat femme? Like, do you go to the gym and look ugly until you look beautiful because you're not fat? Like it's insane. Exactly. Queen on the Rise. Thank you for saying that because it is such a wild experience to consider that like there are so many people out there that are fat that are seen as like you're ugly, you're not attractive, and again, they're just fat people. They're just fat. And again, it's the way that like sometimes people will say someone's ugly and it's like they're just deep dark skin. It's the way people will say someone is ugly and they're just disabled. It's the way people will say someone is ugly and they're not white. It's the way that ugliness really be resting in everything but. And it's just like, how the fuck did we get here? Like how are we attributing that to ugliness? Again, it's the way growing up, I was told I was ugly, and then at some point, oh, all right. Listen, no one's looking for validation, but I do think validation is important for all of us. Everybody deserves to be validated. And again, you can validate yourself, but let's not pretend like we don't live in community. Like I really hate when people make it seem like, oh, you can do it all on your own. You can't. You can't. Self-care is only one piece. Mutual aid, community support, all of that is necessary. So I'm over people trying to make it seem like we all gotta go after this one ingredient. No, we don't. There's multiple ingredients to survive. And so we need to also hold that there's more ways to live than the one that you may perceive or I may even perceive. I'm open to constructive criticism. I'm not open to people being ridiculous. Like don't tell people that they're gonna do it all on their own. That's gaslighting as fuck. What movement been done by one person? Name one company one person did it on their own. Come on. And Aqua, you saying that is fucking insane. Like the ways that like people will assume something about you because of your skin tone. And even saying MLK would be insane. It's just a name that people love to say. People love to say Malcolm X. People love to say Martin Luther King. I'm so sorry, bitch. Cheaters is on, and they found this bitch in a fucking room with this bitch butt naked. Damn, and the bitch ran butt naked outside. Oh, she running outside butt naked. Ooh, cheaters is foul, bitch. Cheaters is so foul. I just feel like that one didn't need to get aired. Like, low-key, that one did not need to get aired. I'm literally shook as hell. And bitch, the worst part is they was in some sort of dungeon. Some sort of dungeon, bitch. Like, oh my God, they was in a basement, bitch, on the floor with a blanket. Oh, damn. You cheating on the weirdest tip. Sorry. You see how treatment toward you differed when you were smaller fat to bigger fat. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. There's a certain level of fatness you could be that people will be nice to you. But just like, ooh, there was a woman, I'm gonna make sure I say her name because I'm not about to play with her. Because this shit was crazy. But there was a fat woman who was trying to take Lyft, I think. Yeah. She was trying to take Lyft and they would not let her in the car. They said she was too fat to be in the car. And this is in fucking Detroit. That's also why I'm talking about it, because I'm in Detroit. And this is a viral conversation that's happening because a lot of people don't realize that fat shaming is actually illegal in Michigan. That's one thing this state really actually did. One thing, but let me get her name because she's also a rapper and like people are really claiming that she's doing this shit for clout. I want y'all to know right now, just like when that man called the police on me, when I had that bag of big fish and 4 fucking Hershey pies, perhaps 5, I can't remember, it's a hazy detail. But when I had that bag of fish and pies and that man called the police on me after trying to steal my food, bitch, if anybody would have fucking said, because bitch, that's my thing. Did I sue anybody? Did I go in? No, but I really could have. You called the police on me because I didn't give you a pin after you tried to steal my food. I really could have went nuts. I really could have went fucking nuts. Even the cop looked at me and was like, why was he cussing you out? I was like, racism. And the cop was like, it seems like it. Sweetie, all I needed was a body camera that night and it would have went viral. If anybody would have ever said, oh, she trying to make her YouTube popping because, girl, again, be a fat bitch, go through anything, try to get justice. Hoes will make up all types of reasons why you shouldn't get it. It's really sick. And the way they're writing about her, a morbidly obese rapper. That's what they're writing about her. That's what they're writing about her. They say, okay, her name is, it seems like her name is Dawa, either Dawa Blanding or she goes by Dank Demos. Dank Demos. DANKDEMOSS. And so the driver was saying that, she couldn't fit in the car. And I'm going to be real with you. Like, I was almost 500 pounds. They're saying that she was almost 6, perhaps. But when you're a certain weight, I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm going to keep it a super stack. Once you're over 400 pounds, sweetie, it's harder. I'm not even gonna play. It's a little bit harder to do everything. Have I ever been denied a fucking Uber when I was that fucking fat? No. But if I'm being super candid, I wasn't really taking too many. And honestly, if I was taking an Uber, I 9 times out of 10 would take XL. With that being said, did I know that I could fit in the XL at over 400 pounds? Fuck no. But I will say this. If any of them would have told me they couldn't have taken me, I would have hoped that I could have done something similar. But I'm broke. So I don't know, but there's a part of me that feels like because the Lyft driver was fired, that shows that they didn't like what he did. That actually helps her case. So for the people that are shitting on her, it sucks because it looks like she's about to win something. But True. Yeah, no, I think she's definitely going to win her case. But again, when you're a super fat person, like, people will really scrutinize, like, why you deserve anything. Fuck humanity. Fuck decency. Fuck kindness. Why you deserve a crumb, bitch? Like, it's the way that, like, me and my friend was on the phone and we were talking about people saying things about us being fat bitches. And something that I remember bringing up is I told her, I was like, somebody one time told me I'm too fat for my age when I was younger. And that really fucked me up because I'm just like, damn, bitch, like, there's a certain weight you're supposed to be at every age. And like, hear me out. Like, as a fat kid, like I was very impressionable. So if you said something to me, I was really gonna think about it. But it really had me sitting with the fact that like certain people are just constantly trying to correct other people's behavior because their behavior is being corrected. Like, it's clear to me in retrospect, somebody might have told that child like, you're supposed to be this big, you're only supposed to be this big. And maybe their family have food insecurity, like low key. Like, sometimes I wonder like how many kids have eating disorders because their family was broke, and so they gave their child a calorie counting disorder because their parent was like, I only need to feed you 1,000 calories a fucking day. Like, who knows? Who really knows whose eating habits are out of trauma? I know for me, like as a kid, my mom would put locks on the kitchen door. She was restricting as a parent. She was not trying to figure out how to like make sure I was fed, and like she was broke. So she was like, I gotta hide the food from you. If your food is being hidden or you're being restricted in food, why wouldn't you as an adult overindulge? Why wouldn't you as an adult go out of your way to like eat ridiculous amounts of food? Why wouldn't you try as much as possible? Like, I remember my mom wouldn't let us eat certain shit. Like, we weren't allowed to have soda. She would always have a bottle of Pepsi in the fridge. We weren't allowed to have candy. She would always have a candy bar in the freezer. She would always have things for herself to make it through clearly poverty. But it's the ways that like we were denied these things. Of course, as an adult, I'm trying every fucking candy bar I can. I'm trying all the sodas I can. Of course, because as a child, I'm being told I couldn't have it, but I'm watching you enjoy and indulge. Of course I hate you. You know what I mean? Of course we have beef now. Because at some point it's like, wow, I was a pet. I wasn't supposed to absorb this and understand you. I was supposed to pretend like, oh, it's cool because you're putting water and food in my bowl. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way you were supposed to be a grateful pet, bitch, and let you say anything, let you desire anything. And see, Aqua, that part too. It's like, it's the way that I never knew how people were gonna receive me as a fat bitch. Like, some people would say I was well made, sturdy. Like, you never know. Like, old people would be like, she's really like she's well built. Like, she's gonna be a basketball player. That's what a lot of people said to me when I was with my white granny. She's gonna be great in sports. Sweetie, I am uncoordinated as fuck, and if that ball comes near my head, I'm ducking. Fuck it. Like, I'm not in the game. I'm not in the game. But with that being said, it's the way that like people will see you as a child and will plot on you and will tell you what you're gonna be and be telling you that you should be using your body like this or like that. And again, it's the way that some of us don't really know what the fuck we want to do with our bodies, but other people do. Other people look at us as fat people and tell us what we should do. It's the way when you're fat, people will tell you, have you heard about the lemon tea diet? Have you heard about have you heard about this? Have you heard about Weight Watchers? Have you heard about these smoothies? Have you heard about The Secret? Have you heard about The Journey? Have you heard about weightloss.com? Have you heard about have you heard about this? Oh yeah, all you gotta do is boil some grapefruit for like 8 hours, and then after you dookie, you gonna be skinny. The lemon cayenne pepper, oh my god, bitch! The lemon cayenne pepper had bitches in a chokehold. Like, literally, the cayenne pepper. Whoa, like, you really just fucked me up again, bitch. Cause like, it's the way every bitch and their godbrother was like, we gotta get that lemon cayenne pepper immediately. It's gonna take care of our backs. We're gonna lose all of our backs. We're gonna be backless. No, when I was in my 400, like, I want to be super candid. I gained weight for sex work, but also because I like food. Like, I want to be super candid. Like, I don't think about being fatter as a problem. Being over 400 pounds was scary. I'm gonna be fucking for real. Like, I'm gonna be so fucking for real. Like, there were definitely moments where I was like, this might actually be too big. Like, only because it's like, bitch, the clothes, the shoes, the chub rub boil, like, I couldn't spray enough deodorant between my thighs, bitch. It was just not working. Yeah, it was mostly that though. Like, again, I don't think of my body as like a project. Like, I don't think of my body as like I don't look at my body and be like, you're too big or I don't think like that. But when I was a lot fatter, I was getting a lot of heat rashes too. Like my belly and my thigh would like, they were not vibing. Like, I don't know what it was. I haven't had that shit since I've lost weight. And it wasn't intentional. Like, I've actively started eating less food, not because I want to. Like, I still eat out when I can, but it's just like, bitch, I used to eat out so much more, but now the way that the fucking economy is affecting this fast food, bitch, it's like not worth it. Like, it's now that I'm eating at the crib, I can't get my back can't get that big because I'm not using that kind of oil, bitch. I'm using butter and shit. I'm using all different types of stuff. I'm not gonna be able to eat like I used to, bitch, and I'm sick. Because again, bitch, it's the way. And again, I know somebody's gonna be mad. I know someone's gonna be mad because I know motherfuckers don't want to hear about this, but it's the way I went to McDonald's last night and I gave away one of my hamburgers, bitch. That's how nasty this shit was to me. I didn't even eat the whole shit. I was like, look, that one hamburger did me. The fries wasn't even hot, bitch. I was in that line for like 30 minutes, swear. Fries wasn't even hot, bitch. They was fucking medium. Fries was like, the little ones was already getting jagged and cutting up a bitch's throat. Tragic. The only thing that brought me happiness was that fucking iceless orange high C. I shot that bitch like a motherfucker, like a shooter, bitch. Like, I felt drunk a little bit when I drank it that fast. My God, it was the only thing that could wash away the memories of that shit. My God, it's tragic, bitch. It's like I could make my own fried chicken. I know about that motherfucking that General So slurry. I know about that fucking cornstarch, bitch. Fuck it. Like, I'm not about to play no more games. I'll fry my own chicken. I'll fry everything on my own. Like, I just can't trust these hoes. Like, bitch, honestly, like, low-key on some stealing shit. I feel like the last good chicken tender I had was from Whole Foods. And I put that shit in a soup container. And this man watched me. He was like watching me, like he was working there too. And I was just looking at him like, please don't tell on me. Like I don't have money to buy a fucking $30 pound of motherfucking chicken tenders. I'm going to put these chicken tenders in this big soup container. All I have is $12 for this chicken. And bitch, it's the way I had like at least 2 pounds of chicken, bitch. I was punching the chicken in that motherfucking soup container. I was like, it's science. Like fist plus chicken plus soup container. I'm going to get at least 3 pounds of chicken for $12. I'm crying. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Dane put me on to kimchi. I was being ignorant. I was like, I don't know. I'm ignorant as fuck, bitch, because this shit good as fuck. But I was looking at it like, I know. I'm American as fuck, bitch. That's my American ugliness, bitch, honestly. Because I was like, in the bag. Not the kimchi in the bag. I feel goofy as hell. That's what I get. I had to wait all these years. It's been out there. And I just found out. So fucking delicious. I had to just take a bite just mentioning that, bitch, because it's so good. My gut health though, bitch. It's the way I know. It's the way I know I'm going to sleep so good tonight. Like the kimchi with the fried Spam, bitch, and I fried it in coconut oil, so I had a little bit of sweetness to it, bitch. And low-key, I did not realize how good Spam was. Like, until I had Masubi, I really was ignorant to Spam. I was like, real talk, I used to be looking at Spam like, now I'm like, bitch, Spam? Whoa. Marie, what up? Kimchi is strong, and that's why I'm glad it's in a bag. You can't smell shit. But it tastes bomb as hell. And I'm hella grateful, honestly. Like, there's just something about having some fucking food that you cooked, like, and you can eat a big ass portion. That's another thing too, bitch. The portions, bitch. The Mexican spot. It's like, I don't want to jump these people. I know their community's going through a lot already, but how the fuck you only give me one little scoop of rice? Sweetie, what's going on? Price didn't go down, but now I'm only getting 85 rices? Bitch, I can't do nothing with 85 pieces of rice, bitch. 85 pieces of rice, not enough. It's not enough. I need at least 1,000 rices. I feel like because I'm getting it from the bag and it's refrigerated, there's a part of me that feels like I guess I do like it more fresh. This one tastes, there's a twang to it, but it's not overly pickly. Like there's a crunch in the vegetables. So I think the fresh one is for me. But again, I've seen some people do some interesting things. I feel like Spam has done so much for me. And if I had some hoisin and some fish sauce, I would have just made some fucking Spam fried rice. But at the point that I was like, bitch, I'm trying to make like I've been really craving fucking boneless spare ribs, bitch. Like that's my order at the Chinese spot, bitch. The boneless spare ribs, hoe. And bitch, depending on the price, I'll just get a whole pound of it, and then just get a big thing of rice and just. I feel like meal prepping it don't seem realistic for all of us, but I'm grateful that people are able to do it. My kitchen is too small to meal prep, to be honest. I feel like I got to make everything right then and there. And to be honest with you, I feel like I mean, I made some stock the other day. I feel like that's about as much meal prep as you're gonna get out of me. I'll prep some stock. I got some jars. I've been thinking about jarring some shit. Actually, me and my friend was talking about getting a canner, and trying to figure out like a canned good club or something. Cause at the end of the day, bitch, these canned goods is crazy, bitch. I bought some corned beef hash for $3. One little can. It wasn't even the can, bitch. It was the half the size of the can for $3. But I was craving it. Bitch, the boneless spare ribs, rain. See, I knew we could order some food. They really don't. Bitch, we all love Meryl Streep. Thank you. That's how I know I'm with my people. Everybody don't got the same boneless spare rib, and it makes me sick, bitch. Out here, bitch, it's so hard to find it, bitch. Back in my hometown, they have like the long strips. That's my favorite one, is when it's julienned. These motherfuckers just have these big squares that be fatty as fuck. Don't even barely got no meat. I'm like, sweetie, boneless spare rib is mostly meat and some fat. It shouldn't be fat and some meat. Sick ass bitch. I'm fucking sick of you. Like, I'm like, bitch, not you just fed me fat, bitch. Fat and sugar glaze. I actually want to fight. Bulgogi bowl, okay, bitch. Like, listen, I'm trying to learn it all because it's the way that I'm. Me and my friend was talking about having a vegan breakfast and shit, and it's like, bitch, no shade to the vegans, but it's like, bro, it's like I'm so ingrained to eat meat with every meal. I hate that for me because sometimes I'm really like, I be scrolling just like y'all, and I'll see somebody beating up a cow, like this is what they be doing, and I'm like, bitch, I know they're doing worse. Like, bitch, there was a report that came out that during fucking Thanksgiving, a lot of people wasn't buying turkeys because a report came out that a lot of men were having sex with the turkeys. That like apparently because and they're not it's not even because, let me not do that. But the response to patriarchy being to leave many men alone, to not really fuck with all of them, a lot of them are fucking animals. Like it's really sick to say this, but it's the truth. Like there are a lot of men who are abusing animals right now because they don't have access to women, bitch. It's really crazy. But bitch, the reports are coming out. They're obviously not about to hit mainstream, bitch, but look into it, sweetie, if you care. Google it for real. It's crazy. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, honestly. And again, I'm not trying to derail the chat too much with this, but it's just the way that like people have just like let it be known. Like again, what kind of whistleblower? Like, can you imagine having to tell anybody that you witnessed, that you're aware of, a turkey being R-worded? Like, what the fuck? Again, bitch. Again. We in something else. When you cut your pineapple, the core part in the middle, don't throw it away. Just freeze it. It's gonna make it sweeter, and then use it as ice in your water. It's so fucking good. And look at that. You got it left over, and then when you're done with it, you can put it back in the freezer, add it to a compost heap at some point. Whatever the fuck you want to do, babe. You can also put it back in the freezer and then throw it into the garden at some point in the summer. Just saying. Word. Word, I hear you on eating all the meal prep. Like, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm very much like into eating things as quickly as possible, but every now and then I'll have like a mama moment where I'll just go in the kitchen for like 45 minutes and bust it up. Like today, like I chopped up that motherfucking spam, fried it up. As I'm frying it up, I had the fucking rice going. I already knew I was going to add the eggs to the rice. I wanted there to be like a fried wonton to eat it with. I really feel like a wonton chip would have been bomb, or even just steamed wonton wraps with a little bit of sazon on it. I really feel like would have been lit to like eat it with like that, with like little pieces of like wonton wrap. But I don't really think about it. I don't really think too much about it. I just like going in the kitchen and being like, you know what, I wanna use a little bit of something. Like I be putting sazon in my shit, kimchi in my shit, gochujang in my shit. I don't give a fuck. I feel like that's one of the things about cooking that I really love is that you never know what spices are gonna actually like really like vibe together. And I love that like Mexican and Italian share so many spices. That shit is so sexy to me because I love cooking food from Mexican culture. I love cooking food from any Latin culture, honestly, but especially Mexican food is. But there's a Nicaraguan spot out here that's good as fuck too. But I don't really know too much about Nicaraguan food like that to give you too much. But I had some empanadas from there that were fire. But again, these food sizes, like these empanadas were tiny as fuck. And they were just like, it was like, damn, you could just make one big empanada and charge what you just charged for all of that little baby one. But again, I feel like, it's giving the illusion of more if you give me six little empanadas, but it's really not to me. But bitch, wait till I learn how to make beef patties, bitch. That's like the next thing I really want to focus on. Cause if I learn how to make beef patties, bitch, it's the way. I'm about to not play, bitch. I'm about to put them in a deep freezer. So I gotta get a deep freezer, I think. I think you can get a deep freezer. Yo, check out Restore in your area. Restore. It's actually run by Habitat for Humanity. They find really cheap home goods so that you can upgrade stuff. Like you can get a stove there, a fridge there. You can get all types of stuff for your house there. Again, at a discounted price because again, these things are usually rescued from homes that are maybe being demolished. And so they go into places where things are just again maybe falling apart and they rescue what they can. So you can get yourself a brand new bed or you can get yourself a brand new fucking bed frame, but there will be some used stuff in there. Again, if you're building your house or creating a housing space, or trying to upgrade your house if it's fucked up, because I know the front burner on my oven is like really fucked. But again, I feel like I'm getting off topic so hard. I feel like I came here with the spirit of just trying to uplift that, like, this person made this post where they were asking for support, but they were also uplifting the reality that they needed to uplift that they feel like body positivity is dead. And, in some ways, I feel like body positivity was like the catalyst, perhaps. Like it was the beginning for some people into figuring out that their body was not something that they needed to apologize for, something they needed to hate, something they needed to hurt. So I just think about how some people were learning about themselves through the community, but I think at some point, um, it just became obvious in some ways that like we're all not on the same accord and that like some of us are still learning to figure out how to care for our body, not just love it visibly for all of y'all to see, because I think that that's another layer to like body positivity that I didn't think about, and why I said that like there was really no other option for me but to put on aesthetic and be a beautiful fat person and love myself. If I did anything less than that, then I'm unwell. I hate myself. I'm not worthy of supporting. Like there's layers to like being fat and how you talk about yourself. When you're a fat person and you apologize for your body or you make it seem as if like you're not that beautiful, you're not that attractive, you're ugly, like there are people who will really appreciate that. And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And so I don't want to pretend like we don't live in a world where people are happy for their friend who's quite insecure to be, propping them up in some way. It's much harder, in my opinion, to put on aesthetic and perform as if you know you're a beautiful person when the world is constantly telling you you're ugly and that you must buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this if you want to be acceptable. Like that's a harder thing to do than to like just, you know, believe that you're just automatically ugly. Like, I feel like believing you're automatically ugly, like, I feel like that's really easy. I think it's much harder to assume that you're beautiful and to like go into a space looking a certain way. And again, like, not necessarily get that support, not necessarily get people to care for you, not necessarily even care for yourself, really. And I think about that all the time, that like, what is loving myself to me now and what I thought loving myself was when I started on the internet, not the same thing. I don't think that I love myself more because I put on a wig. I don't think I love myself less because I do my natural hair in front of your face. In fact, I think that the people, or I think that the person that I believed myself to be when I first started YouTube and who I am now do not come from the same universe. And I feel like that's the frustrating thing. Or maybe in some ways they do, but they weren't, maybe not supposed to, perhaps. Like, maybe I wasn't supposed to get to this point, maybe I wasn't supposed to. And in some ways I believe that. In some ways it's like, if I would have let the lack of love in my family really eat me up all the way, like, what would I have done? Like, granted, I know some people may think that I've given so much to be in a romantic relationship, and I have, but I haven't given up my freedom. I haven't married nobody. I haven't had no kids with nobody. I haven't even fucking signed a lease with anybody up until this year. So, with that being said, I want to be candid that, like, there are so many ways that, like, if I was all the way eaten up by this shit, like, who the fuck would I be? What the fuck would I think? What would be solidified for me? And so I think about how, like, I just kept on getting away from things that just did not seem like they were for me. But it took me a while. It also took me talking about it. It also took me telling people. It also took me trusting people that maybe weren't supposed to be trusted. It took learning that too. And my friend just sent me a video from TikTok that said, POV, I'm letting you manipulate me because I never heard this one before. And so I need to let it play out so that I can figure out how to never let this happen to me again. And it was funny as hell because it's like, honestly, like, some motherfuckers be manipulating you in such a it's so beautiful, it's so masterful. It's like, bro, like, in the end you look at it and you're like, wow. Like, when I look back at, like, me and Christopher's relationship and how he was like begging me to not break up with him, like, in retrospect, it's like, man, imagine someone begging you to not break up and you've already decided you don't want to be with them. Why does their begging matter? Like, again, why do their feelings matter beyond, I hear you, I honor what you're saying? Again, it's the way that, like, you will go through something and look back and be like, yeah, I should have stood on business. But again, if you didn't stand on business, how would you know now? Someone could tell you a story, but it doesn't apply to you, does it? But that shit applies to you. You remember when you heard them crying because they didn't want to let you go. And in retrospect, you're like, they didn't want to let that supply go. You're realizing in retrospect, they didn't want to let that half of the rent go. Like, in retrospect, you realize why they said what they said. And now you're wiser, are you not? Now you can't get tricked like that now. But with that being said, it's the way that, like, when you are a fat person and you are candid about getting played out, like, the ways that, like, when you're fat and you're supposed to be playing the fat, beautiful girl, how you're supposed to always get the guy and, like, never get played and never be homeless. Like, it's the way that I think some people respond to me in this way that's like, wow, you're so pretty and so smart. Like, why are bad things happening to you? When that's not the question. Like, why does it matter that I'm attractive and why does it matter that I'm brilliant? Why do those things matter when it comes to survival? We're paying to be alive on this planet and no other species is doing the same. And yet people will still look at you and say, how come you're fucked up? It's fascinating, honestly, when you think about it, like, the amount of manipulation we're all being surrounded by and how we all have to figure out how to fucking navigate it and how we all are not. We're all not going to figure out how to fucking battle through this shit. We're just not. And so with that being said, I want to be clear that as much as I love the post that Che put out, I do think that it's also real that some of us are not, we're not going to be the one that, stays fat. We're not. Some of us are not going to be the one that yells, free Palestine. Some of us are not going to be that one. And I'm not saying that to discourage you from showing up for people. But I want to acknowledge, though, is that you will find your space. You will find your place to be radical, to be different, to transition, to call in. versus call out. Like, you will find your place, and I want us to lead in that direction, because I do think that some people are thinking that the new world we're gonna live in is gonna be just like the old one, and people gonna get beat up and people gonna get arrested. No. The new world we live in has to empathize. The new world we live in must be willing to dream of new ways to deal with things that are threats. We must. I know some people really think that right now in this time, we gotta we gotta do certain things, and I just want folks to remember, like, do shit that's gonna remember that you're watching you. Don't focus on no higher power. Don't focus on no ancestors. Focus on how you about to look at yourself in the future. Focus on that. Because I recently found out a bunch of white people thought they were going to hell if they didn't vote for Donald Trump. That's what Christianity did, just so y'all know. All the people that really want to fight with me, because there's some people be here trying to fight with me about Christianity. There were a large group of white people who voted because they thought that hell was going to open up and swallow them if they voted for Trump. I just want to be candid. Like, we're not in a time where people can discern why people are saying certain things, why certain things are projection, why certain things are religious persecution. Like, we're in a time where people can't really understand why someone would use God to lie. We're in that time. And so I'm really hoping that folks realize, like, you're not stupid. You're not dumb. No. It's mad manipulation. It's layers to why people say certain things, why certain things are being done. It's layers. So you're not behind. In fact, you're probably trying your best to fucking make it like every day. So please be kind to yourself. Be as kind as you possibly can. Treat yourself like you would treat any friend you know going through what the fuck you're going through. Because it's not the time to be thinking like, damn, I should have known. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. Nope, it's not time to shame yourself. It's not time to shame nobody, honestly. And I know some people really want to shame the Trump people. I know they do. Leave them people alone. I promise you, y'all. They are already getting their karma. They are already getting it. They're already getting it. A lot of them people was fucking lied to, and they're having to realize it. Stay off their head. Please. I know some people don't want to hear this shit. I know some people really think vengeance. I told you so. Shame is really going to help. It's not. And I know some folks don't want to hear that. I know it feels good to say, well, look at how it's all burning. Bitch, we're in the burning house too. It's the way that we're talking to each other like we're not in the burning house too. My God. Again, I know some people don't want to hear this. I know they don't. I know. And there's some Christians right now that don't want to hear this shit too. And it's so funny to me. It's so funny how people really choose what part of that book makes sense. It's so fucking funny to me. But what I truly believe makes sense is for us to just remember, like, there are people that we're in community with that need our support, and we should focus on them as much as possible. Feel your feelings. If you're distressed, depressed, crying, feeling fucked up, don't have enough food, like, do not gaslight yourself. This is a crazy ass time to be alive. And instead of pointing a finger on why somebody set you up, let's hold space for new words like coup d'etat. I'm actually going to define it for you right now. Because again, I know that I would just be up here talking, but I really want to give you as much information as possible so that when you leave here, you can go do a little bit of searching. Now, coup d'etat, a sudden, violent, and unlawful seizure of power from a government. And so with that being said, I want folks to think about how Kamala never had a chance. I want us to be real. I want us to be real with ourselves. I want us to be really real. We don't live in the kind of country where someone cannot campaign and become president. But more importantly, we don't live in a country where they respect law and order. This country has always been a response to tyranny, but it was always from the vantage point of white, cis, hetero men. And so when this country was founded in liberty, it was also cultivating hell for deep, dark-skinned Black people. So with that being said, this country was never going to be liberated under Kamala. It's it's an option now because we are understanding collectively that this is not what we need as people. But I hate to say this, and I know some folks will not agree. Under Kamala, we would be chilling. Under Kamala, there would be there'd be celebrations, and there would be this false sense of everything's okay while these egg prices are going up. Trump is not in control of this. That is not what he's in control of. He is in control of pushing the agenda that people who are truly in control want. I feel like as someone who grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, I did watch the Trump I can't remember what it was called. I genuinely am blanking on the name. I'm gonna Google it though. I'm gonna Google it just so I can keep the story going. Donald Trump, because I know Nene Leakes was on it at one point. That's why I really watched, bitch, because Nene Leakes was on it. I was like, Nene Leakes was on it. It wasn't How to Be a Millionaire, right? It wasn't that. You're fired. Yeah, The Apprentice. Okay. Yeah, I watched The Apprentice. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I watch certain stuff because it's funny as fuck to watch white people do certain things. Like, I feel like I watch The Office because, again, The Office is not a good show, but The Office is really a true depiction of how white people behave in, like, the office setting. And whenever I watch The Office, I pay attention to Stanley the most because I feel like Stanley is the only person in my reality, like, the only person that I'm in reality with. But everybody else, the way that they're behaving, it's like, whoa, like, this is how what they believe makes sense. Again, I know some people don't want to hear shit like that, but that's just the fucking truth. Sometimes I watch stuff because white people are acting a fool and it's funny to me. So The Apprentice was hilarious to me because it's like the idea that like Donald Trump was going to like make this person like temporarily richer because they were smart enough to do some stupid ass like deal that was already basically set up for them to do. Like, again, there were a lot of things in that show that were just hilarious. He got a bunch of rich people to come on his show and act thirsty, for his approval. Again, in retrospect, it's so Orwellian in a way that like he already was like the president and had people kind of orbiting around him vying for his attention, and that's what I truly believe he prefers. And I think that reality TV was just the tip of the iceberg. I think at some point, like, the show probably wasn't doing the best also. And so with that being said, like, he had to go for a bigger dopamine hit, which I truly believe is being worshipped on a grand scale. And I truly believe being the American president is like the highest thing that he could ever think to achieve, on top of the fact that like Donald Trump is a Gemini who he just loves to fucking talk. And again, because he's been a mouthpiece, because he's been a figurehead, because he's been seen as like white American royalty, it's very much giving again, it's just giving that like he is the guy that can sell it to the American people, because the American people think that he's rich. And again, it's the way that like when it comes to Kamala, it's not about Kamala appearing rich or not, like, honestly. And I know people keep on invoking that it's anti-blackness, but if I'm being candid with you, I think people were more angry about black people being happy that somebody was kind of black. Like, that's what's really sad, is like nobody really didn't want Kamala because she was black. No one saw Kamala as a black woman. Like, let's be fucking real. The only people that did were thinking like that. But the people that were like seeing her as a beige, lesser version of what was coming. Again, I know some people don't want to believe that this wouldn't be happening under Kamala, but what I want people to think about is why it couldn't be Kamala. Why Kamala was never, like, why Kamala wasn't even, sweetie, they were not worried about her. She was not even in the runnings, bitch. They, like, honestly, the fact that she didn't primary, like, I just feel like she was such a fucking afterthought, because at the end of the fucking day, they expected it to be Sleepy Joe and Trump. But Joe was looking crazy up there, like, just looking dazed and shit. The powers that be did this on purpose, bitch. This is on purpose. They wanted us to think, oh, Dro, he's so old. Oh, Kamala, our hope. They wanted us to get so caught up in the identity politics of Kamala. And again, I remember people being really angry that people are like, Kamala's not black. That was the point of this. There's been a conversation steadily coming through about colorism and anti-blackness for how long? And all of a sudden, we're all fighting about Kamala being black. Come on. Like, again, I have too much hypervigilance and pattern recognition to like ignore shit like this. Like that's why I bring certain shit up because it's all connecting. There's a reason why people started to talk about anti-blackness in a particular way around colorism, about people being mixed and erasing blackness. There's a reason why they chose Kamala. They picked her for a fucking reason because she was gonna polarize people to the point where people were thinking that this pro-black mixed woman was going to do something to everybody else for black people. That's what I truly believe the spin was don't hire this woman. She's going to do something and make black people have more than you. That was really the vibes of what I was seeing. And again, my desire was to be candid that Kamala was not a viable fucking option. She was thrown to us because the fucking powers that be wanted us to really fuck with. Here's my thing. Was supposed to be a slam dunk, clearly. I just feel like there's nobody that can tell me that the powers that be didn't notice that fucking Biden was looking damn near fucking dead and Trump looked alive. That was really the fucking point of all of that, was to show how alive and crazy one of them looked and how fucking dead the other one looked. And then on top of it, bringing out Kamala as if this world is not fucking anti-black. And again, one drop rule, bitch. Anti-blackness affects a lot of us. In fact, anti-blackness affects all of us, but those of us who have the language and also those of us who are, again, not the most privileged are perhaps aware of the balancing act of it all, right? In some ways, that like, sure, like Kamala's not the most marginalized person, but once black folks were happy, seemingly, about her, that was all it took. It's like, again, it's the way black joy is monitored in this country. And I truly believe that, like, the power that Barack Obama had really disturbed many white people. And then on top of it, the ways that, like, this country has always thought black people were beautiful, amazing. Like, this country has always known those things. But this country does this weird ass thing where they try to make it seem like, oh, one drop of white blood. Because, like, that's really what I'm noticing. People say it's a one drop rule and it's one drop of black blood makes you black. What I truly believe at this point, what's happening is white people believe one drop of white blood makes you beautiful. I hate to say that, but I think white people really believe that they're the reason why mixed people look beautiful. And I want to hold that, like, that's another layer to why there is so much happening around mixed people and those biracial Mormon girls. I'm telling you, there is a setup happening where people are trying to make it seem like the whiteness is what's making them beautiful, what's socializing them to be civilized. It's really sick, but I've been noticing that a lot. And again, it's the way I've seen some discourse around, like, oh, if mixed people have a black mother, they're doing better, they're, a better person, a better ally to black folk. And again, it's the way that while people are saying that, there's also simultaneously this very weird conversation about how when black women and white men are together, the black woman has a hard wig. Again, it's the misogyny war for me around who the fuck is going to parent these mixed folk or us mixed folks correctly. And the reality is how the fuck can it be all the way down to one parent or the other? Like, at the end of the day, I feel like it's down to all the people in the family lineage that are present to be on point with that child. But bitch, again, it's the way that I had a combo with my friend and she was literally like, she's like, oh, we thought the biracials were having a good time over there. And I was just dying laughing. Because I'm just like, nah, like, I don't think so. Like, I feel like if you have mixed folks in your family, it's some weird shit that be going on. And again, I don't want to speak for everybody, but it's the way that, like, some mixed people, I truly believe, feel like they have to perform like everything's good over here because, again, anti-blackness, bitch. Like, again, it's the way that, like, some mixed people, I feel like, try to perform like, this is what we needed as a community to fuck somebody white. That was the missing ingredient. This white person. Where's my water? Again, I know I'm gonna take it. And so you can, like, use your fork to get some more of that pineapple pulp. You could drink on this for a little bit too. It's still frozen. Mm. 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 A snack and a drink, bitch. I'm telling you, the pineapple core. Don't throw it away. It's delicious. It's delicious in some water. It's so refreshing. And then also the pineapple skin. After you cut off your pineapple, save it in the freezer. You can boil pieces of it. It's a diuretic. Do not use this for weight loss. This is for if you have an upset stomach, if you're not feeling too good, if you had a blockage, you got a dookie, but you can't dookie. It's for that. It's for when you got a dookie, but you can't dookie. It's for when your stomach got a lot of pressure, can't move it around. Although I will say this, do a little belly rub, counterclockwise and clockwise, switch it up. That'll help you. But yeah, the pineapple skin tea, I like to use that shit in summer a lot just because I feel like it'd be good as fuck for your skin. I just feel like it helps, like, just clean you out. Like, I feel like you pee a lot more when you drink it. It's just solid. But again, it is a diuretic, meaning if you don't, keep up on your water while you drink that kind of shit, you can become dehydrated, okay? It can also give you diarrhea. And that's not what you want. Diarrhea is not weight loss, friends. Diarrhea is not weight loss. Just keep that in mind. You cannot dookie your way to skinny. Please don't try. I know that's what Ozempic is doing to the girls. I actually found that out. Unfortunately, that Ozempic makes you diarrhea. It actually turns all of your food into waste. Doesn't really allow you a lot of nutrients. And so you actually have to take a lot of vitamins while you're on Ozempic, from what I've heard. So I want to be super candid that if you're anybody out there that is thinking about doing Ozempic or thinking about being, just a little bit more invested in your bowel movements, just consider the natural things you can do. Because if you're going to already be diarrheaing, friend, might as well just get you some pineapple skin tea. Damn, bitch, this is so sick. Bitch, this woman just found out her man was cheating on her and she threw up. Bitch, that's wow. Has that ever happened to anybody? I feel like when I found out I was cheated on, I didn't feel sick. I was angry as fuck. Like, I wanted to fight bad. I wanted to fight bad as fuck. And I feel like I seen that bitch. But I just stared at her. And she ran. And I was dying laughing. Because I was just like, bitch, I can't even fight you right now. Like, I'm on my break. I'm getting a sandwich. But damn, not throwing up over a man. I hate that. Bitch. Oh, and now she carrying a teddy bear. Damn, I'm sad for her. Damn, and now, oh, damn, they come through the back of the restaurant. Bitch, I'm messy, I know. Oh, it's a strip club? Oh, shit. Oh, and he's handsome. Damn. That is tragic. Damn. Bitch, he look like a browner skint Tay Diggs. That is crazy. Damn. Oh, the new bitch is sliding out. Damn it, she just got her shit pressed too. Sorry, bitch. Cheaters is such a crazy show. Like, I literally seen a white man pull out a gun this last time, and I was like, I just don't know how you pop up on people cheating like they not willing to risk it all. Like, they're already risking it all. They're already risking so much. But look here, I truly believe on some conspiracy shit that some of these people are trying to break up or they've been divorced. Like, this one girlie was like, sweetie, I already divorced him. Like, she literally called, like, here's what's crazy. The girlie called his mom and was like, Diane, you're never going to believe what your son did to me. She's like, I've already divorced him. I've already let him go. And it was crazy because he was talking like she had betrayed him, but it's giving like, bitch, she divorced you. And now you're stalking her. Like, bitch, not you call somebody mama for putting you on cheaters. Like, that did not seem like a girl that was in the wrong. It seemed like she was like, your son is stalking me, bitch. And I was just like, bitch, this show is fucking crazy. Like, imagine. Here's my thing. If I get cheated on, I don't want to know. I want to just, like, I want something to happen. Like, an icicle hits you. On some motherfucking lovely bones, bitch. I just want an icicle to hit you one good time. That's all I want. I don't want to know shit. I want to die thinking that you was cool. I do not care. Because my thought process is this. If you're doing all that, if you're cheating on people, like, it's just giving too much. It's giving like you don't realize that you could just walk away. Like, really? I just don't understand people like that. And I did cheat one time, I'm not gonna lie, bitch, and I got caught. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I feel like that was my first and last motherfucking time, bitch, and I was little as hell. I was little as fuck. I was like maybe 20. Maybe 20. Acting stupid. And that's that, you know? I was being dumb. But if I'm being super candid, I feel like I was just like, when I think back to it, I think I was just too old to be, I was too young to be in that relationship. Like, I really should not have been with someone that much older than me. And I really do think that, like if I'm being super candid, like, in retrospect, I really feel like he was sick. Like, okay, let me be candid. Yes, he did fuck a bitch in the swamp. That's true. But all summer, I was living life. I was having a good time. And I feel like, here's my thing. If I just met you and you see me living life, I don't believe that that's your place to tell my man what the fuck I was up to. When my man is living where? And you're supposed to be my homegirl. In retrospect, the fact that she even knew my business like that means that I trusted her. It means that I really wanted her to know, like, I'm living out here, I'm doing my thing. And I really should have broken up with him, but bitch, I didn't. I didn't. I should have. I can see that now, but I didn't. I was appreciating him in other ways, financially. So I was like, why would I fucking break up with him? But I didn't realize that the girlie was seeing me live and do my thing and be mad about it. And hear me out. I feel like at this point in career, I don't give a fuck about nobody's business. Like, if I see you and you playing with your mans, girl, I'm not even on horse blinders. I don't care. If I know your mans, if I really know him, I probably would be like, yo, why are you playing with him? Let him go. At this point, at that time, I was like, bro, this man got with me when he was an adult. I literally just became an adult. And I'm realizing I don't really fuck with him like that. He kind of fucked up. And then on top of that, I feel like, if I'm being super candid, I feel like he wanted to be with me because I think that, like, the girlie that he wanted to be with wasn't fucking with him like that. And that's only in retrospect I realized that. I feel like at the time, I did not know all what to fuck to look for, like the signs. But when we had first started getting together, I was like, oh my God, like, he loves me so much. He buys me so much stuff. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But then at some point, you know, he started revealing stuff to me. Again, when you're in your fucking late teens, I met him when I was 19, you're not really thinking about all the things you should ask. And again, I'm not saying everybody, but I didn't really know too much about him. And then, girly, and I'm only bringing this up because, like, bitch, I really started thinking about the full picture of it all. But I want to say that, like, maybe a few months to a year in, he told me that, like, you know, he got kicked out of college because he had written something that seemed like a school shooter would write. And so not only did he get kicked out of Harvard, they literally told him he could come back once he went to, like, a mental health evaluation. So I'm like, wait, I'm already invested with him. I'm damn near living with him. I'm caught up with him. And now I find out that he low-key got school shooter vibes, and I didn't know that shit the whole time. So yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Like when I found that shit out, I was kind of shook. I like didn't know what to do about that. I was telling friends, and they were all shook. But again, I didn't know what to do. Like I was caught up with him. So yeah, I did start cheating on him because in my mind I'm like, maybe I can find a way. Oh, that's not like so dramatic. But again, who the fuck who the fuck is gonna tell you day one, like, oh, I got kicked out of Harvard because they were worried about my blog that I had written that was very scary. And at the time, he was like trying to date this girly who like was not into him, but she was using him. And so like that was the vibes. And so my energy at the time very much was like, whoa, like this is a lot. I'm already like obsessed with you though, like kind of, but at the same time, I'm just like not all the way sure what I should do in this situation because again, like, you don't seem like a killer to me now. And so there's a part of me that was trying to figure out like, am I fucked up for dipping on him or not? And again, I stayed with him, but at some point, like his anger, like there's the way that he would have conflict with me. It just got to a point where I was like, bro, like I'm kind of just like an ornament here. I started to feel like this relationship was just like the whole point of me being around him was to make him feel good. Like it had nothing to do with me. And in retrospect, I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about how relationships can be very much like someone showing you that like they just want you around. Like they don't really care about what you're doing, don't really invest in too much in you, don't plan things with you. Like they just want you around them. Like you're a security blanket in ways. And I wasn't thinking about it like that. Like my mindset was I thought I was freer in some ways. Like I thought I was doing more in some ways. But when you're really young and you come from poverty, like you will really confuse having like disposable income for something's happening. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And so with that being said, like once I thought like, once I started feeling like I don't know if I could really be with him for real, I started cheating on him with this dude at Panera. And when I say cheating, I mean like we never even kissed. Like that's what's even funnier. We never hooked up, we never did anything. But I had a crush on him like hella bad. And I know that he knew that through our text, like that we were flirty and like feeling good or whatever. He's married now. I'm not trying to be dramatic. But it's just the ways that like I feel like I was just with someone who was not in my same age range. Like he was in his like mid 20s, I'm 19. And like it's the ways that like I just did not see how much I wanted. I wanted connection more than just like being on someone's arm or being someone's like live-in girlfriend. And so again, like that relationship, like me going to New Orleans was literally me realizing like I don't have to stay in Boston just because like I'm comfortable and safe here. Like I can go somewhere else. And me going down there and again, like trying to self actualize. And the whole time, this girly is like, I didn't realize, but like cataloging like all of the things that I'm doing to go and tell this man who comes to visit me. And it's the way that like I didn't even know that until months later that they had conspired. And it's the way that like, again, what did I owe her? Like, it's the way that like when you're up to no good, bitch, you really never know who else is up to no good. I feel like that's the only lesson I have from this story is like when you're moving wild, like who else is moving wild, you'll never know. Like, cause if I would have just kept it a buck with him and been like, look, I'm having fun out here, who knows what it would have been. But I really feel like I feel like she was throwing it at him to be like, see, your girl cheating on you. And it's like, there's just a part of me that felt like, who cares what I do down here? Like, if I'm in Boston, I'm not doing anything. Like, it just got so boring that it was just like, I'd rather do anything else. But at the same time, I was scared to let him all the way go because there was a part of me that felt like we had been together since I was like a teenager. Like, at that point, I want to say I was probably, I don't even know. It's all blending in ways, but I just think that like the ways that that relationship really had me realize like you cannot stay with people. Like if you want to stay with them, you're gonna move a certain way. If you want to leave them, you're gonna leave. Like you cannot play with people. And again, I'm not glad that I got cheated on. Fuck no. But I am grateful that I realized early in my dating life that that is not who I want to be. I don't want to be holding on to people just long enough to jump to another person. Like that's not what I want. But I know that there's some folks that do that shit. And again, I'm not trying to shame nobody. I'm just trying to offer that, like, when you don't allow yourself to, like, get away from certain people, or you don't allow yourself to just have, like, a moment to realize, like, hey, this isn't what I wanted, like, that could really set you up in the future. Like, you could really jump into somebody else's arms just because they feel better than the last person. But are they really, like, the person that's gonna, connect with you? Like, if all you're doing is having good moments with this one person and conflict with the other person, it could kind of fuck you up mentally and make you feel like this new person is going to be perfect when nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. And I think that that's part of this as well, is that that relationship really did remind me, like, people's time is precious. And I'm over here, I'm over here moving back in with him like everything's sweet. He over here couldn't wait to tell me that he had, slept with this girl. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it wasn't so much him fucking her that hurt me. It's that they both smiled in my face, like, and they both acted so. And when he described like how they had gotten away with it, it was so sick. Because I remember never thinking nothing like that. I genuinely believed them when they said there was traffic on the road. Meanwhile, they fucking in a swamp. Meanwhile, they saying that the sandwich shop is real busy while they fucking. It really had me thinking back to the convo I had. I'm like, y'all was really fucking when y'all was on the phone. I'm like, girlie, I was sitting with your boyfriend. Like that's the other thing that blew me. I'm like, you was sitting next to I was sitting next to your boyfriend the whole night. Like I actually ordered food for everybody because y'all took like an extra hour. And I'm just sitting there like, not y'all. I'm like, girl, imagine telling somebody, man, all the things their boo had did, and then being like, but I'm gonna give you some pussy. Like, that's crazy to me. Like the whole thing is funny in retrospect. But again, it's the way that she's moving in the story that has me fucking crying laughing because it's the way that like when we first started being cool. Oh no. I just really thought like she was like a girlie from New Orleans that was gonna be cool, but in retrospect, I really think like her white cop dad like really did like add another layer to this. Cause I feel like at the end of the day, like her father being a cop and her, rebelling in the way she does. I also have to hold that like her mom is like a brown skinned black woman who seemed very respectable. And the father, again, like a white director of narcotics for the fucking FBI type shit. Like, bitch, like, motherfucking. It just was funny how she was moving out here because we definitely were moving crazy as fuck for everything that she had going on. But with that being said, I just remember being like, bitch, I'm telling your dad. Again, it just got so petty. And I never told her father shit because, like, at the end of the day, bitch, there was really nothing to say. I'm sure her daddy know what the fuck he got going on up over there. I'm sure her father is very aware. But again, it's the way that like somebody told me about this mixed girl in New Orleans and was like, y'all probably get along. And it's just funny as hell. Cause it's the way that she had this one white girlfriend and sweetie. Mm. I'll never forget the first time I met her friend, her bestie Jessica, bitch. I'll never forget this. Me and her just cooling in the car. All of a sudden she get a call. We start riding. I'm like, what's up? She's like, I gotta go get my girl. She just texted me 911. I was like, okay, bitch, we pull up to this house. Why does white bitch jump out the door, bitch? Like she don't even hit the steps. Like she just busts out, run to the car, get in the car, talk about something, drive, drive, drive. I'm looking around. I'm scared as hell, bitch. I'm like, what am I dealing with? Why the fuck the bitch gonna say he ain't got no teeth? Bitch, that was the first time I had met this bitch. She was jumping out of man house talking about he ain't had no teeth. I was like, girl, what was you up over there doing? To where you just finding out he ain't got teeth when you in the house? What the fuck? I was so confused, but I feel like we went on a blunt right after that and got some food, but I was just like, bruh, these are some wild girls. Like, I was loving the vibes. I was like, wow, like we saving bitches from motherfucker. We going to get sandwiches. I think we got sandwiches actually from the Parkway, bitch. Shout out to Parkway Subs, bitch. My God, New Orleans. Oh, I want to eat a po' boy from there so fucking bad, bitch. I want to cry. Don't none of these places make the good bread, bitch. It's sad. But yeah, no, I had a good time with them for the most part, but I was fucking dead. And if I'm being super candid, I really don't even care that she tried to fuck my man. I feel like the thing that, or that she did fuck my man, I feel like what bothered me was like, bitch, just keep it a buck. Like, she really gonna have the nerve to reach out to me after I done left the city talking about some, oh, this is what you do now, just kick it on live and kick it. It's like, yeah, girl, because I'm not in New Orleans riding around with your ass. Like, the fuck? I'm in the fucking city, bitch. I'm in the fucking north. They do not be sliding through saving hoes from like random dudes. It just don't go down like that. Like, New Orleans is not the same. Like, there's no place like New Orleans. So yeah, bitch, I'm back in the north, like kicking it, chilling, vibing. True. But it's just the way that she really tried to spy on me to see what my life was looking like. And again, it's the way that even if you did fuck somebody, man, and did think you could like, it's just the way that, like, bitch, and I went back to him, and what? Like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about that for me that had me laughing, that, like, she over here watching me with the same motherfucker, but I just feel like after that, that's the reason why I left also, because I wasn't fucking him no more. I just was like, I don't want to fuck you no more. And I feel like that's why he even told me that he fucked the girlie. Like, I feel like that's why he admitted to cheating on me, because then he knew I would leave. Because it's like, sweetie, I'm not going to fuck you no more, but I'm definitely going to strategize my next move here, bitch, for free. Yes, I am. Because, girl, I already know, like, you owe me a lot, bitch. Like, I really fucked with you in, like, the craziest of situations. And that's just that on that. Like, you definitely owe my ass, because the way you were moving. And again, when you're really young dealing with somebody older, like, it's very rare that you're going to like keep in mind that like they were keeping you in a certain type of lifestyle, putting you in certain types of places. Like, I just think at the end of the day, there's layers to connections with people, and I think that that's a whole nother layer to why I think like dating is just so fucking dead, because a lot of these men will really traumatize you and never do anything for you that makes sense. And I'm not saying that they should be doing stuff for you and traumatizing you. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that like there are just so many situations where like a man wasn't really putting a lot in but was definitely taking a lot out. And so that's why a lot of women are like, fuck these men, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. Or they're just gonna fuck me in and just let it be. And I appreciate that. Like, I love the movement, the 4B movement, 5B, 6B movement. I think that it's gotten up to 7B at this point. But I'm gonna be super candid. Do I think that I have a perfect man or a good man? No, I don't. I think that my partner is, has been harmed by patriarchy and knows that he is not accepted as a man always. And I feel like because of the ways that patriarchy harms some men, almost as like a get in line, be like us, some men notice that and reject masculinity. And I feel like that's what I'm dealing with. I feel like I'm dealing with a man who is like still realizing that like, he's got a way to go, but like those early experiences with masculinity and his curiosity and leeriness to behave like how men are telling him to behave by how they're treating him is why I fuck with him. I don't think he's like doing anything super special. I do think that he is being curious about his behavior and his environment. And as I said before, we both have family members that were addicts that were not treating us correctly. And I think that that's a bigger reason why we do connect than any kind of gender dynamic shit. Although I feel like in our gender dynamic, he is way more nurturing than me. He is way more domestic than me. I really hate cleaning. It sucks. Like, I'm okay with things not being that clean. It's okay to me. He's way more organized, and I love that about him because he kind of keeps a standard that's easy to maintain for me. And he's also very like affirming and will be like, hey, like I saw you did this thing, like thank you. Like he thanks me for anything that I do, and I do the same for him because again, we could really not do it. You know what I mean? We could really let it pile up, let it get crazy. So we always try to respect each other and say thank you for, you know, doing this or that thing. But at the same time, like he is absolutely more of a just more of a organized person than me. Like we're both pretty messy, but he definitely is better at taking the lead with keeping things clean. And also he washes dishes so good. Honestly, washing dishes is annoying as fuck to me. I hate it. So I try not to do it that much. But he washes dishes so well. Sometimes he'll be washing dishes and they do a terrible job at it, and that shit makes me want to cry. But he washes dishes and I trust them, and that makes me so happy. He also knows how to wash walls. Oh my god, I really like whenever I cook in our kitchen, the walls get so fucked up because it's such a tiny space and there's not a lot of room. But it'd probably be on the floor if it wasn't on the wall. Honestly, I'm like kind of a messy cook. So with that being said, like all the ways that I'm messy, all the ways that he's messy, all the ways that I try to, you know, do certain stuff. Like I feel like I'm less grossed out by stuff. Like he gets disgusted by things so easily. I'll be like, bro, I will literally put my hand in there and scoop out whatever eggshell tea bag situation is inside the sink that's making it stuck. I don't care. If something gets stuck in the toilet and it's beyond plunger, I'll put my hand in the toilet. I don't give a fuck. Again, I know some people are like, but for me, I'm just like, it's like, I just feel like I think about it scientifically. Like, it's nothing biohazard. Like, I'm going to be okay. There's soap. It's not nuclear. I shouldn't have said biohazard, but it's not nuclear. I'm going to survive it. But again, I know like for him, he would fucking throw up. Like, he literally told me he cannot pee if there's pee in the toilet. And I'm like, okay. Again, there's just a way to live that he's living that I appreciate and vice versa. But again, it's the way that like when you're living with a cis man or you're living with a masculine person, it's the way you're supposed to be a secretary, a wife appliance, a happiness machine. And I'm grateful that he doesn't ask that of me because I have no desire to be any of those things. And he's aware of that. And again, we really don't fight about cleaning. We really don't fight about mess. And it'd be messy in here and we'd be cleaning in here. But for the most part, I think our energy is just like no biohazards, no science projects, like no cups of tea sitting for more than 2 days. You know what I mean? Just some loose boundaries. And I appreciate that because again, like I've been in relationships with men where like they'll watch the whole house get fucked up and they'll never clean. And it's like, what? Or I'll be with a man that's like OCD and like has to like have everything a certain way. And so my existence is annoying to them. That's really rough. Like when you're like the messy one and the other person is like, you're messy as a thwart to me. And it's like, no, I'm not. We might not just be compatible to live together, you know? Like some shit is not necessarily like fuck you. It's just like, hey, we might not be able to vibe this way. But yeah, getting back to my whole point of even making this video, there are so many fat people out there who don't love their bodies, and that's actually okay. I think that we have to just hold that like loving your body is actually a multi-layer process, very nuanced, and not every person is going to love what they see in the mirror. Just like there are skinny people, just like there are people who are of smaller size, just like there are people who are privileged in the concept of body positivity, just like there are people that bodies are seemingly neutral, bodies that we don't comment on, bodies that we don't look at as good or bad. We have to hold that like all bodies are just that, bodies. And so we can't possibly know the health or status of any person. And honestly, if we're not checking in with that person to see how they are, probably don't need to know the health status of that person if we don't care about how they're mentally doing. Like, let's just be candid. Like, there's just some times where we talk about people and it's clear we don't really care about them. We just want them to be hurt. We just want to actually punish them for existing. And so that's my other point is that there are times where I think when we're talking about people of size, I think we forget that just like there are fat people who really like how they look and really show off their bodies and live almost as if they should be on a pedestal of what true body love looks like. This person accepting something that's such a flaw. I think that we have to remember that that person's just a person and they're trying to live. And as I was saying earlier, there's a very limited way that you get to exist when you're fat. People almost expect you to be stinky, ugly, uh, poor, uncultured, have a lack of all types of things. And so when you show up in the world and you can speak clearly, when you're not constantly perhaps body shaming yourself or making jokes at your expense, there's so many ways that people expect to see a fat person show up in the room, that when a fat person shows up as seemingly less than that or even more than that, there's a problem. And the ways that some fat people are going to talk about the situation unfolding in a way that we don't really appreciate. I know there's going to be some fat people who see fat people losing weight and will think like this is problematic. There's going to be people who see fat people losing weight and think things like, wow, like I've never seen a super fat person lifting weights. That's a really cool thing to see. I didn't really think about ever trying to do that. I never thought about what it would look like to be in that space. Again, I understand that like when we talk about fat phobia, we're also simultaneously talking about white supremacy. And unfortunately, some of us don't want to talk about the ways in which we move through the world so that we can be treated better. And one thing about being fat is when you post about weight loss, when you post about losing weight, when you post about the active pursuit of gaining muscle so you can lose fat, those are actively ways that like people do use your image or your platform as a way to say, see, that fat person gets it. That fat person is doing the right thing. And again, it's the way that like people will say, you know, that fat woman's face is so beautiful. I remember people telling me all the time, you have such a beautiful face. You have such a beautiful face. And the ways that like that is what you hear the most when you're fat and you are quote unquote beautiful, as if there's no way to be fat and have a beautiful body, as if beauty when you're thin means like you are fully beautiful from the top to the bottom, inside and out. The ways in which like beauty when you're fat is like chopped up into body parts, into pieces of yourself, that again, people may ask is, are they real? Is this real? Like people used to ask me all the time, is your hair real? And there's a difference between somebody saying, is your hair real? And someone saying, like, I like your hair. Just like there's a difference between someone saying, oh, I like your hair. Like, you know, would you mind telling me the details of where you got it pulled off to the side? And someone being like, damn, that's a wig. Where'd you get that wig? You know what I mean? There's just layers to like how you can approach people and still honor the fact that they have autonomy and they don't need to tell you about the invisibilized parts of themselves. You don't necessarily need to know about my real hair, but it's the ways that people will shame you for having accommodations. And again, that's what we're talking about essentially, as accommodations and like who has it, and the ways that when you're a fat person, you're supposed to be pulling yourself up all the time. You're supposed to be putting on certain aesthetics. You're supposed to be looking certain ways, again, to be showcasing that you're not the bad fat person. You're not that fat person that's going to die tomorrow. And that's the thing too, is like when you're fat, people will tell you death is coming. People will really let you know how you're living, how you're operating, though they won't know. They'll look at you and tell you death is on the way. And that's why the term death fat exists. You know, people that are so fat, people tell you that you're going to die. People that are so fat, people, you know, tell you they're worried about you. They're worried about you. That's a layer of fat that a lot of people haven't been at. And as someone who has been a death fat, who has been so fat, people are scared. I have to hold that like whiteness has really figured out a way to make people think that losing weight or being less physically in the space, that is a moment, that is an event. And again, I don't expect everybody to believe what I'm saying. You can look this up on your own. There's many books like The Body is Not an Apology, Fat So, say somebody wrote a book, but I don't want to say they wrote a book and then find out they didn't write a book. So, ooh, Belly of the Beast. Belly of the Beast. Yes. I think that was Deshaun. Yep, Deshaun L. Harrison. Belly of the Beast. I'm still working through that one. I'm gonna be super real. I feel like I be knowing about books, but I don't finish them always. And it's not because I don't want to finish them, but sometimes I feel like books be hitting like fine wine or really good chocolate, and it be feeling like, bitch, I can't eat this whole candy bar right now. I'm gonna get sick. Like, it's just too much. So take your time with your books, y'all. You ain't gotta finish them all right now. But I also think No Name has a book club, the rapper, which sounded really interesting. Because I've been really thinking about like how having someone read a book to you is like, it's just such a sexy vibe. Like having someone take time to like give you, just give you some time to digest the book. I don't know. I'm just in a space right now where that's all I'm thinking about is like, how the fuck do we, like, how do we absorb this material together? Because it really does feel like that's a bigger issue at this point. Is like, I'm tired of like people acting as if because someone doesn't know this or that language that like they shouldn't be in community with us, or if this or that person isn't, they're not reading this or that book, or they haven't heard of this or that phrase. Like, I really want us to remember, like, so many people are not really online gathering all the things we're gathering, not because they're bad. Like, there are so many people out there that are scared to be gay. I just need y'all to know that. There are so many people scared to be gay, so many people scared to be queer, scared to be trans. And I'm saying that with love. I'm saying that as, like, someone who, again, is very gay, but has absolutely dated mostly cis men. Absolutely. I am a very queer person to me, but I have absolutely been safe in community by fucking with men who were not expressing like the most toxic masculine way. Like, I know that like being a queer person, I know some people might think I'm bisexual, but I really feel like bisexual means like you're into two sexes, and I feel like or both sexes rather. And my thought process is like, I would be into someone who was like asexual. Like, I would be into someone who was, not a man or a woman. Like, I think that with that being said, like, I see myself as like pan romantic. I'm not really only romantic with men, but I have mostly been romantic with men. But I know that there are people out there who will think, oh, like, you're scared to be with a woman, or, oh, you don't want to be with a woman. And it's not that. It's more that, like, being with a woman or being with a femme partner or being with someone who's not a man, that is not the easiest thing for me to find. I feel like we're not always talking about, like, how people look in a certain community, but when it comes down to like a lot of queer relationships, when I think back to what I've seen, I haven't seen a lot of fat on fat queer love. Like, I feel like most of the time, if the one of the partners is fat, the other one is skinny. And I feel like, again, with that being said, I feel like a lot of people who are in queer space who are not white usually have found a white partner. And I feel like in that respect, I am trying to be mindful about the fact that dating someone mixed for the first time, because I've never dated a fellow mixed person. I've only dated white people or black folk. Like, I've either dated someone black or white. I've never dated anybody who was mixed. I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like, from my perspective, I feel like this experience has been one of the easier experiences, mainly because I feel like once me and Dane figured out, that we're both mixed people, it wasn't really that much more conversation around like race, like around like or trying to, again, like, I just feel like once we realize we're both privileged within white supremacy, it got real easy to talk, you know what I mean? Because I don't have to convince anyone that I'm privileged. I don't have to like tell someone like, oh no, I'm having a different experience. And I also like, I feel like again, that's the thing. Like, yes, even though Dane does have like the privilege to pass, like I think about how like once he grows his hair out, he doesn't anymore. And I think about how once I put a wig on, I'm no longer like known as a black person. Whereas when I take the wig off, people see like black ancestry and therefore will hold me a different way than if I had on a wig. And so I want to be super candid that like me and him both have similar experiences that like depending on how our hair looks, people will think we're all types of shit. So we're never really sure if we're in danger or if we're being fetishized, which is a different type of danger. And so with that being said, like I've never been able to talk to someone about like what it's like to like again like show up somewhere and someone like figure out that you're not black or figure out that you're not white. Like that's a wild experience to try to explain to someone that like in real time people are again telling you what you are or fighting with you or even feeling betrayed at times because of what they thought. It's not typical experience for most people who are not mixed or who don't typically show up as one race or the other, or excuse me, who do show up as one race or the other. But if you are someone who is seen as like, if people ask you what you are a lot, again, these are things that like we experience, like having to figure out like if someone is like being nice to you because they want to fuck you, or if someone's being mean to you because they think that you're a marginalized person and therefore like you deserve to be treated poorly. Again, there's no way to always know. Like some people are very nice to me and then I find out it's because they want to fuck. There are times where people are really nice to me, and then I find out it's because they think that I'm some sort of ambassador to blackness, and they want to pick my brain and talk to me about certain stuff. Again, I never know what people see when they see me, but at some point when we talk again, then it starts to be revealed. Like, oh, this is what I was thinking that you could do for me. This is what I was thinking I could do for you. This is what I was thinking that could happen between us. And again, how would I know that off rip? I wouldn't. So with that being said, like dating someone who also shows up and who knows if they're gonna see you as a white man or if they're gonna see you as someone part of the Latina dad, who knows? And again, I know some people would not understand that experience, and honestly, that's cool. I really don't feel no ways about it. I just think like when you've experienced it and your partner has too, there can just be different conversations happening. There can be different moments that can unfold. And again, being able to be candid about how things are different for myself and then also hear about how things are different for him. Because again, like when I first saw him, I definitely thought he was um I'm trying to think what the first picture I ever saw. I don't know. I think I just thought he was cute. I didn't really think too much about race. Like I didn't think about what race he was exactly, but I thought he was like a light skinned person. Like I did not think he was white, but I didn't necessarily think that he would have any black ancestry necessarily from the picture. But then as I started to see more pictures, as I started to, see more, talk to him more, I started to see who he was, if that makes sense. But I feel like with that being said, if I were to see him with a hat on standing outside, I might think that was a white dude, like dead ass, like walking by for sure. But if I stopped to like look at him and talk to him, no. But I think about how, again, that's what passing is, ain't it? It's like, it depends. It really depends on where you at, what you do. And again, it's not like I've ever seen him go out his way to seem white. But with that being said, I think about the ways that that is a part of privilege. That is a part of privilege. That is a part of privilege. So it doesn't matter what he's doing on purpose. He doesn't have to do a damn thing. If I can look at him and not know what he is, that's right there, just something that's out of his control. So again, it's the way that like I know some people have thought he was white. I know some people have said to me, once I looked at him more closer, and it was just funny because it's like it's the way that us mixed people get studied. But what's the point of this? You know what I mean? Like, what are we really looking for? Like, that's where I'm at. Because it's like I was studying him as a partner potential, as like, am I into you? Like, I'm looking, and again, I don't know that all attraction is instant. I know some people can think it is. I think that there can be instant attraction, but I also think there can be attraction to like finding things out. I feel like that's where I'm at as a person. I feel like I see people that are attractive all the time. let me find out some shit that is not attractive to me, then I am not attracted anymore. And so with that being said, I think that with that being said also, I know I'm like on mad tangents. But yeah, I think who you date can definitely signal like, what you're up to or who you like or what you've been liking. And someone recently told me that I dated a lot of white people. They were like, they're like, I noticed you date a lot of white men. And I was like, well, here's my thing. I was like, the white men that I'm dating are not showing up in the world, at least the ones that I dated recently, are not showing up in the world like I am the white man colonizer. Like they're showing up um questioning gender. They're showing up like trying to figure out how to, be equitable in living situations with non-white people. Like they're white people that are, looking like they're white men to a cop, looking like they're a white man to the naked eye, but in their behavior and their performance of it, at least, is not giving me like white man colonizer vibes. But at the same time, like when people look at me, they might think like, like again, not at this point, but at some point, like, or in some ways, like when I get dressed or whatever the fuck, like men will think like, oh, she's high maintenance, or like, oh, she's maybe gonna be a bitch, or all these things that people think when you like put yourself together and you go out and you have your head held high. The ways that like I am or can be a bitch, but it's also like the ways that I can be quite soft and gentle, and the ways that a lot of my partners are coming from abusive households just like me. Only a lot of my partners' abusive households were a little bit more jovial and a little bit more, I don't know. Like I think about how I think if there was more money involved, like my brother got money out my mom, so I think that's why he was staying so close to her. Like got a car off her and shit. Like I really do think that like he realized like I could get something from this woman if I stay in proximity to her, no matter what the fuck that looks like for me, really emotionally. And again, it's the way that like some of y'all like really do have really toxic households, but it's the way that this person is paying this or that bill, taking care of this or that thing. And that's what we were talking about before, about how like sometimes it's hard as fuck to get away from somebody because of what the fuck they're doing for you. Not necessarily taking away from what they're doing to you, but also what they're doing for you. And the way that they can also weaponize that against you and make you feel like you're an ungrateful person because you want to get away from abuse, when really you're not ungrateful for what they've done. You are wanting the abuse to end. And so it's the way that like they will think that like the abuse ending or you bringing up the abuse, like it's just so, can't even imagine how can that ever be. And it's like, are you even hearing what this person is saying? They're tired of being harmed and they're wanting to be free. They're wanting to be left out of, your pain that you're putting on them. But again, it's the way that like, you got to think twice before you walk away from an abuser because now you're fucked. So I don't know. I came here with a lot to say, but I feel like essentially my thought process is that obviously none of us owe anybody weight loss or behaving a certain way, but it's the way that like when we show off that we're losing weight, when we show off that we're getting smaller, when we talk about reducing our size as fat people, I do think that there are times where other people will see us and think, damn, you know, this fat person that I was admiring is no longer, operating in a particular way or is actively trying to diminish. And I know some people don't want to think about it like that, but when you're constantly posting about Ozempic, constantly posting about going to the gym, it does give this vibe of like that is what we're supposed to do. And again, I know that the world already tells us as fat people we're supposed to be working on weight loss, but some people are embodying that energy, and it is offering them a lot of support because again, there are so many people who are working out, going to the gym, and are using it as not just a status symbol, but also as a symbol of like how we're supposed to handle the next 4 years is get physically fit and then what, Again, I'm not trying to make it seem as if anybody needs to lose weight or anybody needs to stay fat. I'm just trying to offer that there are so many conversations happening about fatness and people losing weight and who deserves to be, you know, who deserves to get grace in this moment and who deserves to be looked down at. And I think the more important thing is to acknowledge that, joyful movement and health at every size is where I think a lot of people checked out. A lot of people didn't want to hear that you could be healthy and you're a super fat person. And again, the way that like health, what does that mean? The ways that we really be saying words and we don't know what the fuck they mean. Like I remember reading that like, sober is like waiting, like moderation rather with drugs is like waiting for your organs and everything affected to get to zero. And it's like, how many of us do or eat or just smoke, whatever the fuck, anything, and then we're like waiting till we're at zero to do it again? I think about how, like, again, the regulation of like being an addict or the regulation of trying not to be one, just the ways that like we're all beholden to this idea of what health is, but there's no framework for it and there's no support. And so it's the way that like we're constantly spiraling about like being healthy or being well or being on point or taking care of ourselves the right way. And I just think that like it's so nice to see anybody outside enjoying the earth. So great to see anybody fat, especially enjoying whatever fucking piece of life they're living. But it is wild to me to notice that, some of us have a different idea on what being fulfilled is, on what our lives should look like or could look like. And I think I'm just trying to honor the reality that, when I first started my blog, I definitely started it to lose weight. I definitely first got on the internet to lose weight publicly. And I think about the kind of headspace I was in. I was starting a new chapter in life. I was going to college in Boston. I was in an apartment building, high rise on Commonwealth Avenue across from the Star Market. I was right in the corner of everything happening. And I really thought, this is the time. And again, I had been egged on my entire childhood. I'd been told my entire childhood I was fat, too fat to care about. And so when I went to college, I had this dream of going to college and like not just not going through the freshman 15, but like coming back so skinny. Like that was really my thought process. I am so grateful that I got to live across from the Super 88. If you ever go to fucking Boston, that place is so worth your time. The food there is so good. You're so welcome in advance. But thank fuck I lived across the street from a grocery store and a good ass restaurant, bitch. Because my God, it's the way that I was really about to like bitch. And the first week of college, I'm going on like 3 hour long walks and shit outside. I'm just sweating my dick off. I'm also like thinking about taking like these like ephedra free trim spa pills or some shit. Like I was really so committed, but eventually I forgot that journey and I'm so fucking grateful that I stopped. But I definitely was like logging how much I was on livestrong.com, logging how much water I drank, logging all my calories. Oh my God. It was such a boring, shitty time. But I really thought like, oh, like this is it. Like this is the path. I really thought if I just started like getting super structured with like my food intake and going on these like 3 hour walks, this would start making sense. Like again, it's just the way that like I really thought like as a fat person like weight loss is supposed to like take up your life, is supposed to take up your energy, is supposed to put you in a position where you're better, you're doing something new. And again, it's that vibe of like even acknowledging like at some point when I had been more active in New Orleans and had like lost weight, like the ways that people treated me, the difference of being fat in the north and then being fat in the south, and the ways that being fat in the south is not seen as socially something to like keep you away, like to kind of get away from you. In the North, being fat is absolutely seen as like a, like a, you're fat in the North. Again, in the South, it's the way fatness is almost kind of like a duh. And again, the ways that like people really do, and again, I don't want to make it seem like there's not like fat phobes in the South. There are, but there are so many more fat people, I truly believe, when I look around in the South, that I think it's much harder to hold a standard of like discrimination that would not be, it wouldn't hold enough people for it to make sense. Like, I think there's just too many fat people down there to act like we're all not cute as fuck. And again, it's just the ways that like when you're a fat person, people really do think like, especially in the North, that you're ugly just because you're fat. So I want to just hold that like there are some people out there that know what it's like to, know that your marginalization is part of why people think you're an ugly person, and not that you're genuinely like not cute. But again, like the ways that me and my friend just talked about how they didn't realize they were attractive until they were like 14. And they were saying that like people were telling them that they were attractive at 14, but they had spent the last 13 years getting bullied and being told they were ugly. And so when they turned 14, they like didn't believe it and they were suspicious. And it sucks because it's like I feel that still to this day. Like there's still moments where I'm just like, are you sure? Are you sure you like me? Are you sure it's me? Because again, it's the ways that like you've been told like for a significant part of your life, like you're ugly, you're fat, and you're ugly because you're fat. That like even if you wanted to be beautiful, tough luck, bitch. And again, the ways that your beauty hinges on anything you can do, anything you can buy. I think that's the other capitalist like shitty thing, is that like whenever I see someone fat that's really, really beautiful, it's never free. I have never seen a fat, beautiful person photographed for free. I've never seen it. Every photograph I can think of where that person was like giving beauty, they were invested in lighting, they were invested in the wardrobe, the hair especially. And again, when we talk about fatness and blackness, queerness and transness, the ways that when we see fat black people, anytime, they must be done. And it's the way that people will really like bully you for not rising to some occasion that really isn't about you. And I think that that's what, getting back to it, at Cheymodee, CHEYMODEE was trying to get at, that like you're not really going to ever be included even though you're doing all of this stuff. Like even though you're trying to diminish your fat phobia or the fat phobia that's coming towards you, this is not necessarily the way to do it. And again, as I said before, not everybody's about to scream. Not everyone's about to be an activist in a particular way. But I think it's important to acknowledge that there are going to be layers to this conversation that we all don't have access to. Like there are so many people out there who are aware as fuck. They're aware as fuck. But when it comes to their own privilege, they are very asleep. And so, again, I don't want to do too much. I just want to offer that it can be really hard for some people to hold that what they're seeing is people perhaps self-actualizing. There are people doing things that we won't really agree with, but they know better than us. There will be moments where people seemingly are not moving in alignment with something that we thought they would. And I do think it's worthy to talk to people if you really are kind of confused. But I also think it's real to not know what to say. It's very real to really not know how to approach somebody when they're doing something that doesn't really make sense to you. I also think it's real to be scared, to feel something that might make you disconnect from someone. I want to just put that out there that we all get a chance before we hit the block. We all get a chance before we hit the unfollow. And I know it can be scary to acknowledge that you want to get away from this person because you're scared, because you're anxious, because you're not sure, because you're confused. I just want us to consider, like, there's so many moments that we get before we get away from people that we can ask, like, what's up? But also, us not asking what's up is not a failure, right? Sometimes we really don't have the bandwidth to try to understand what the fuck you're talking about. Sometimes we don't really want to know. Sometimes we really don't want to know. Damn. Not this Cheaters episode is fucked up. They done pushed the girl in the damn water. Woo! Cheaters is crazy, bitch. That's why I love the show. It's so messy. That's also how I got my inspiration for my Sims storylines. Because it's like, ooh, bitch, yes. Messy. Anyways, this is my last one. I'm really about to leave right now. I just want to talk hella shit, but I also want to uplift that Chamo D is trying to crowdfund right now. And honestly, bitch, like, I know there's a couple of y'all that need to crowdfund as well. Please do not forget, like, you're a part of community. Even though you might not talk too much in the chat, that don't matter. Uplift it. Uplift it. What harm could it do? More eyes that could see what's going on. More purses, more coins. Who knows? I really need us to stop thinking like this. Like, Americans is really embarrassed millionaires, and we never about to be millionaires. So we got to stop being embarrassed. We got to stop being embarrassed. We got to really stop being embarrassed that we don't got it. We got to really start saying we don't got it, because somebody might have it. Somebody might have it. And if somebody has it, baby, we might get it. Then what? Then what? Then what? Never know. Anyways, I'm a dip, but I really hope that y'all support the folks that are supporting you. But I also hope you support people that you don't even fucking know, bitch, because you really never know, bitch. I know some folks are not thinking long term in this fight, but this fight about to go on for a while. You're dealing with a coup d'etat, bitch. Look it up. I shared something in my community tab. Please look at all the videos in my community tab. Please take your time. We're dealing with some fucked up shit, and it's deeper than Kamala versus Trump. It was always deeper than that. That's why they were fighting so damn hard. That's why they was fighting so hard to get us to fight, bitch. That's why we was fighting over white passings and quadroons, and that was such a wild thing to be fighting about during a presidential election. Don't you agree? Very strange to be fighting about white passingness, and yet historically so fucking accurate. Who is the way Kamala was used to fucking gaslight so many people into thinking we was gonna get another black president. We never had one. How about that? Maybe we'll get one. Maybe we'll get one, but low-key, bitch, fuck a president. Fuck a president. We gotta think bigger than that. We gotta think bigger than that. There's a shutdown coming up, I wanna say in March. 5/1 they said. 5/1 they want to do a shutdown, which is fascinating to me because it's just showing how broke our country is. Like, people can't even do a march next week. They're like, look, let's plan this march for the 5th, for the first, excuse me, the first of, what's the 5th month? January, February, March, April, for April 5th. April 5th they want on April 5th for people to do a shutdown of Target, Walmart, McDonald's, like all the major American corporations. Meanwhile, bitch, the tariffs are going into effect right now. So it's like, by the time this motherfucking shit goes off, though, ain't nobody gonna have no money to give to these motherfuckers. Like, honestly, like, I'm not sure what the thought process is around the timing. At first, I was thinking it would make sense because people will be able to stock up by then. But it's like, will they? I don't know, bitch. Don't know. But yeah, just please keep your eyes and ears, bitch, out. Just keep watching, keep listening. Don't forget to stay teachable. There's so much stuff out here to learn. There's so many people to learn from. Everybody has something to share with us. Please know that even a baby has something to teach you, bitch. I promise you, there is so much to learn from so many people, and I really hope that we stay open to learning. Stay open, stay curious as fuck. Stay curious. Ask why. Confusion isn't always no. Confusion is not always no. Like, please ask people why. Some people really haven't been asked why. And you never know what the fuck will inspire that why. Or what can be inspired from it. Again, I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just trying to say, like, please stay just stay as aware as possible, but also remember you can rest whenever you need to. Resting is not like we're not gonna get far without you resting. We're not gonna get that far without you eating. We're not gonna get that far without you trying to regulate your nervous system. We're not gonna get that far without you. So just please keep that in mind. Like we need all of us. I know that it's so easy to say some of us are this or that. It's not. It's not easier to say that than it is to name that like we are in a simulation, bitch, and a lot of people are playing their part. But some of us know that we don't have to perform or behave this way. Some of us know that we don't have to hold a certain standard of practice to do any kind of thing. Some of us are aware of this. Some of us know like they're projecting on us. Like some of us are very aware of the projection on us. So please keep that in mind. You don't have to do anything any kind of way. You are an individual. You can think for yourself. We know that, but also consider, please, like this is not done. I know so many people are talking about something. We might not see the revolution. Get the fuck out of here. We've been in it so long. We've been fighting for so long. Like that's the thing. Like some people think that this year is the first year of something happening. It's low-key insulting to be quite honest. People thinking that this is a year that something's happening, but it is a year that is, I think, answering questions and not asking many. And I think we need to ask more questions. Not all of this shit is the answer to questions. I promise y'all, there are so many questions to be asking right now. Please keep asking questions. Don't let nobody just say something to you. Ask why. Why do you think that? Push. If you got it. If you don't got it, don't do it. But for real, ask people why. Because some people are really just going along with what they believe, not with what they know. Some people don't know. Some people will never know, but some people can listen to hear and internalize. Just please keep that in mind. Not everybody's gonna know what the fuck you know, and that's okay. We're not gonna all know the same thing at the same time, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer all the time to knowing stuff at the same time, making moves strategically. I know that. Bitch, how many drinks have I had on this? I'm telling you, bitch, the core of your pineapple. Do not let this bitch go. Shit, you can put that shit in some rice. Anyways, I love you. I appreciate y'all for listening to me. Thank y'all for just holding space. It's been a wild ride. Bitch, it's the way I want to show y'all this situation on Cheaters going down right now. They pushed this girl in the lake. Bitch, this shit was so crazy. But you know how they play. You know how they're gonna shut me down, bitch. I'm not gonna get no Google check. Anyways, thank you for listening. I'm gonna spin on my way out.